Hi, and welcome to the Ballyhoo Bridge podcast, where we are your bridge out of chaos. I'm your host, Heather, and I've discovered the thing I enjoy most in life is helping people get unstuck. What do I mean unstuck? Well, are you stuck in your own chaos? Are you either struggling to quiet the noise and figure out your next move, or you know what to do, but you have no idea how to actually do it? Whether it's trying to understand all your spiritual desires or trying to grow a solo business. And now you're asking why I'm talking about both, right? Well, because it's been my experience that spiritual growth and solo business often go hand in hand. And that with the desire to grow, in comes the chaos. No matter where you are in that journey, you often just need someone to take you by the hand and help you bridge the gaps to your next goal, your next success. You need help to quiet the madness and understand your options. So, we're going to talk about spiritual things and sometimes business things and probably a few other things too as we move through the chaos and cross the bridges. I hope you'll come along with me. So, hey everybody, welcome back. I'm really excited to be back, and I'm going to say it again. I say that every time that I'm excited, but my podcasts are always fun because of the people I get to talk to. Because I have Gena back today, and I'm so excited. Hey, Gena.
Hey, how are you? I'm so excited to be here.
I know we have so much we've been talking about lately. Because this all started with I was having after virus issues that resulted in some seizure-like activity. I've talked about this on the podcast before, but nobody knows what it is. Nobody could figure it out. And a friend of mine suggested that I see you to do theta healing,
Mm-hmm.
which I had never heard of, admittedly. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, I'm on board. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we had amazing things happen after that literally changed my life. And we think are based on the fact that I have not had one of those episodes, seizure-like activities, since you and I started working together.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think we found the solution.
We
So,
did.
um, we wanted to talk more in depth about what really happened with me because some stuff has happened, y'all, since in just in the past 3 weeks or something. I've
Yes.
had
Oh my
some
gosh.
talk about quantum leaps, man. Some
Mm-hmm.
things have really happened. So I guess maybe let's talk about when we first met and we first did that first session and the stuff that you saw when you did that. I guess it's a reading. Is it proper to call it a reading? One that I had
Um,
blocked everything off. I had put all
y-
these shields up because I thought I
right,
was under attack from something. So we didn't know
right,
what was going on with that.
right. Yeah, it is a reading slash healing. So when we do theta work, we actually meet along with creator. So basically it's not me doing the healing, it's creator doing the healing, and I'm just witnessing. And so, and anybody can do this. So the beautiful thing about theta is we are all gifted. We all have the ability to heal. We all have the ability to see and to feel. And we've just not been taught how.
Right.
And so in the work I do, it's profound because I get to see people wake up and step into who they are and embrace their gifts and all of this other stuff. So I get excited just talking about it because of all that. But what happens with theta is it's a reading because I'm actually scanning and entering your space and reading your energy, reading your body with the help of creator. And then from there, we proceed and see what we need to do. So there's, physical healing, emotional healing, trauma release, all kinds of stuff. But on our first session, what did I say? That you were a powerful being, and there was so much energy around you that it was crazy, right?
Yeah, which kind of made sense considering what
Yes.
was going on and,
Mm-hmm.
and all the energy because the doctors would look at me like I had three heads because I would tell them it feels like I have a buildup of energy in my body and I have to release it. And that's what these, seizure like, convulsive like, whatever events were. And then when you were like, well, yeah, there's a lot of energy there, I went, oh, okay.
Right. And Creator had told me it was energy similar to a portal or a vortex. And never in my life working with a client have I ever heard or seen what I saw with you. And so, mind you, all the listeners out there, this stuff is for real, because there's no way my imagination is that powerful that every client I see is completely different and unique to them in what I see and what goes on in a session. So, um, you know, I believe what I see and what I hear now, just from experience. And so it was basically, you were your own vortex or portal of energy. And so the seizures were based on your intuition, because you knew that it was a buildup of energy, but you didn't understand what that meant. And so I'm going in and scanning you, and I'm seeing this, and Creator's telling me that no, you don't have seizures. It's not seizures or problems with your brain or anything. That's why the doctors couldn't find anything, and you weren't getting better, because they couldn't fix it, because it wasn't that. It was just your body representing the energy of that, if that makes sense. The physical form of your energy is how it was coming out.
Yeah. And I think we talked about, because it was perplexing every doctor I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them she finally came to the conclusion that she said it's got to be psychological, whatever's going on. And I think she was
Crazy.
implying that I was crazy. Yeah, that I
Right.
was kind of making it up or whatever. She
Mm-hmm.
actually asked me at one point, and I mean, we were 6 months into trying to figure this out at the time. She looks at me, she goes, I mean, has anyone ever seen you do this? And I thought, are you kidding me?
Oh,
My husband has seen it.
oh my gosh.
I had one on the table of the first EEG they did on me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'd had one at another hospital in front of a nurse and all this. So, yes, people have, I am not making this up.
Mm-hmm.
But the one day where I was having one and I could talk and everything during it. And I remember I looked at my husband and I said, it feels like I need an exorcism. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when it really hit me that this was not medical,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and that's when we thought something had attached itself to me, because I had
Right.
done a reading on or tried to do,
Mm-hmm.
I connected to this house that a murder had taken place in. And so some friends of mine thought maybe something had attached itself to me from that house, which is, that's still possible. I mean, I was doing cord cuttings and all kind of things
Mm-hmm.
trying to get rid of whatever that was. But
Well,
um
that's, and you'll have to help me for the listeners out there, because when I witness, I don't, when I do a session, I don't take notes because I'm witnessing. So it's kind of like a channeling session. So I don't always remember what happened in a session or whatever. I remember the profound moments or whatever, but sometimes I don't always remember everything I said
yeah,
or whatever. So my one touch on that point is spirits and entities. We do there, it's a real thing. Spiritual warfare, the whole spiritual world. And a lot of people, I've researched this, I've read articles on it, I've experienced it myself. I would say probably 40 to 50% of physical ailments that people have are from entities attached to them. Now that sounds woo woo. That sounds crazy. And that sounds out there, right?
I believe it though. I absolutely believe it, and especially with the virus, and there's so many people
Right.
that are dealing with the long haul stuff. And I know we talked about, cuz I said, okay, this started when I had the virus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, is there association to it? And we were kind of trying to figure that out. And part of what we think, or what we discovered, was that my vibration got so low,
Yep.
because when I first got diagnosed, of course, I was mad. I was scared because I didn't know what would happen, because I have some underlying health issues and whatnot. So I didn't know what was going to happen. And I knew I had brought it home to my family and all those things. So, I was
Right.
mad. My vibration was super low. And these, these episodes, as we called them in my house, because we didn't know what to call them, um, they were bringing me to a really low place. I mean, I was pretty bad off. I'm
Right.
not going to say I was dying or anything like that, but I was weak. I was constantly tired, a brain fog where I couldn't think straight. I mean, it was getting really rough, and I was having
Hmm.
them so frequently that I was really I was in a really rough place. I didn't know how long I was going to be able to keep working and things like that because
Right.
they were just doing a number on my body, and of course that was bringing me to a depressive place and whatnot. So of course when you started saying these things, and of course my friends and I had talked about the if something had attached itself to me, so many things started making sense then that it gave me hope. And I
Right.
think that pulled me out of it a little bit. And then
Yep.
when it all starts adding up, the difference it makes in your mental,
Hmm.
in your mindset is is incredible. And I think that's a lot of, we talk about warfare,
Right.
that's a lot of what it is, that we have to be in that mental place to do what we need to do and to
Right.
find that strength.
Well, hope is a vibration that's higher than fear, shame, guilt, and anger. So what happens is your vibration starts raising. And sometimes if there's energy in your space, the energy will leave just because it's not a match energetically for them. So when people start, this is why this work is so important to me, is because when people learn that they can raise their vibration and they can let go of fear or shame from trauma or whatever, they'll start to heal themselves on some level automatically because their vibration shifts and it gets energy out of their space that's lower vibration that doesn't match anymore.
Yeah. And I think we
And that's
talked
just
about this briefly, that other people that are dealing with these long haul symptoms, we wondered, to each other, if part of this wasn't the trauma response for one thing
right.
from the virus, but then also these people are in I don't think people understand what it's like when you are dealing with these symptoms day in and day out, and doctors have no clue what to do, and they tell you you're crazy.
Hmm.
And so there's so many of these people. I wish I could just go to all of them and just
Right.
offer them this healing and try to help
I
them
know.
get past that.
Yeah, it's very true. And so that, that goes back to that. When you have symptoms like, well, anytime your immune system is suppressed or anytime you're in uh sick, whether it's, virus or, bacterial infection or any kind of thing like that, your your energy and your vibration is just so low that you just attract things. And this is for another day, a whole spiritual talk somewhere else, but they don't teach us that much about spiritual warfare in the Bible. We don't
No.
hear about angels. We don't really hear about demons. We don't really hear about what's going on behind the scenes in the actual world that we live in on the spiritual level. And that's, people are starting to experience that. And especially when you have oh, things going on in the world, people are, since the pandemic, just the fear and everything else that has gone on, our world and our people as a whole, I would say, have a lower vibration. I
Yeah.
mean, would you agree with that? Just because it's what we've experienced.
Yeah. And then when we were all isolated, so we, the way we communicated with the people, I mean, we could still communicate because we do have the internet and things like that. But being able to be in a room with someone
Hmm.
and sort of exchange those energies and all those things that it's so important to do, I think that that took a huge toll on a lot of people because it
Right.
depended on their environment. Of course, maybe they lived alone, or I mean, I have a family, so I had those people, and I still went to work and things like that, but my interaction with the outside world changed so much. So I can only imagine what it was like for other
Right.
people that have a smaller family or
Hmm.
whatever. So yeah, and I don't know what it's going to take to really pull us out of this as a society as a whole. And I think people are starting to wake up though, and they're looking for these healings. They're looking for a way to change
Well,
that.
Yeah, they're looking for a way to feel better,
Yes.
I guess, because it's, fear and anger and frustration and all of that stuff, like you said, it takes a toll. And people are just searching and seeking some way to feel better, to get rid of some of the pain, to get rid of some of the depression or some of the feelings that they have. So, it's been a blessing in that sense, only because more people are seeking and searching.
Yeah. So I think we're seeing a lot more people, like I said, they're kind of waking up to some of this stuff.
Hmm.
And like you said, I mean, we weren't taught these things as children. That certainly wasn't one of our Bible stories in vacation
Right.
Bible school. So,
Right.
learning these things and kind of seeing, I guess, that other side of the veil or however you want to say it. And I know you said that when you first said, I'm a portal and I'm all, I don't know what that means and I don't know what to do with that.
Hmm.
But I think you said something about how you step from into the different dimensions to do your work or whatever. But
Right.
for
Hmm.
me, it was a little different. Um, and I still kind of have trouble wrapping my mind around that sometimes. What I'm supposed to do with that and what it really means, I guess. But
Well, and you'll figure that out as you work more, um, you know, on healing and peeling the layers of the onion and connecting with energy and with creator and stuff. You'll learn, how to do that as you're meant to when you're meant to, I guess is the easiest way to say it. So about the energy, like when I saw you and the energy portal that you were, like in theta healing, we do a lot of downloads and feeling downloads and all of that. So subconsciously, you couldn't wrap your mind around what I was saying, or you couldn't believe it. So once we started doing downloads and we started doing healing work around that, all of a sudden you were able to step into that more and you were more able to believe all of that, right?
yeah.
Which leads to, are we at a time where we can share that part of, the big profound moment?
Yeah, there's been, well, because we talked about like one of the things you said to me was because I was trying to figure out how to deal with the surges in energy because I feel that kind of frequently. And we
Mhm.
were trying to figure out, is it tied to something? Maybe there's something going on in the world that I'm kind of just picking up on or whatever it is. And so there will be these surges of energy. And I think sometimes they may be somewhat attached to me and maybe an anxiety moment or something like that. Um, but I remember at one point you said, okay, it's not controlling the energy, it's almost riding it. And I'm going, okay. So I'm trying to wrap my mind around, I'm trying to figure out what to do. And so what ended up happening was just a couple weeks ago, I had hurt my knee and my doctor wanted an MRI because they want to make sure I don't have anything torn. And I hate MRIs. I'm very claustrophobic, which we have been working on, and it is
Right.
better.
Uh-huh.
But I do still have, a little bit of issue with it. And so I'm in the MRI machine, and my husband was with me because he helps keep me calm. And so they let him come in with me, and he was holding my hand. And anybody that's had an MRI, those machines make noises as they do the thing. Well, there's this one noise in particular it's like a low hum.
Hmm.
And as I'm lying there, I'm going, "Oh my God," because I could feel that hum, that energy, that noise. I was starting to build energy in my body and I'm going, "Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do." I'm lying in an MRI machine because we talked about the things I do is I ground and I
Hmm.
pull, energy from the earth, and I can actually disperse this energy back out of my body and things like that. But I'm lying there going, how am I going to do this? I mean, I'm in an MRI machine and I don't know when that noise is going to stop. And it's gradually getting worse because the noise is going. And so I was like, just try. You've got to try. So I'm lying there and I'm trying to ground. And I try to connect to creator. I
Hmm.
tried to go to that energy, which was hard to do because I was in that
Right.
state.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't even know if I can relax enough to do this. So I just kind of try to take a deep breath and imagine being in that space. And so I connected and I was like, I don't know what to do. And he told me, he said, push it out to your husband. And I'm like, no, I don't want to give anybody this energy. This is very unpleasant. I don't want to do this. He doesn't know how to deal with that. And he's like, you have to trust me. You have to push it.
Oh my God, I get chills when you
And
tell me.
so I was like, fine, because I'm holding his hand. And so I just started focusing on the energy instead of the sound. I just started focusing on the energy. And I was like, okay, okay, okay. And I just started pushing it to my hand out to his hand. And I couldn't talk to him because we both had earplugs in because it's loud in there when they do this. So I couldn't talk to him. I couldn't tell him. He saw something happen because I started crying, like a tear ran down my face. Like I'm gonna cry now. And he reached over and touched it. 'Cause I think he thought I was getting anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, it's that I don't know what to do with this energy. And so anyway, I pushed it to him and I immediately I started relaxing and I was like, okay, I can do this. And I kind of had control of it then. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, 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 it's fine. And then the noise stopped, thank God. And then I was able to kind of get a breath. And then the next
Mm-hmm.
one started and it did it again, but it wasn't as bad. So as soon as we got out of there, I'm looking at my husband. I was like, are you okay? And he's like, why are you asking me that? So I had to explain that I'm like,
Uh-huh.
no, you don't understand. I dispersed the energy by sending it to you.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know what it was going to do to you. And he goes, well, obviously I'm some kind of badass because I'm fine.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's hilarious. He
Because I'm
didn't
like,
tell me
you
that
need
part.
to tell me if something happens. You need to tell me how you feel so that I can help you. He doesn't do any of this stuff. He has
Right.
no clue how to do this. Because I'm
Right.
like, I can show you how to ground. I can show you what to do. I can help you. And he's like, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just such a moment of being able to connect to creator in the middle of a panic attack almost,
Mm-hmm.
and actually hearing that message, trusting the message, and then knowing that I had my husband, I had someone to help me.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't alone. So all of those lessons just kind of,
Well, see, the other thing you said, there was something that Creator told you about your husband, that
he's my grounding force.
he's your grounding force. So
He's
how beautiful is that when we look at relationships and what God and Creator sets up for us? Sometimes the relationships are perfect and he didn't even really know until this moment how powerful he is in your life and how much more powerful you can be because you guys are together. He's your grounding force.
Yeah. And before I started doing the spiritual stuff and didn't really know what was going on, I would be in crowds and
Mm-hmm.
I would start freaking out because I was picking up on all this energy and I would be like, and he knew well enough that something was wrong. I could just look at him and
Mm-hmm.
he would be like, do we need to go? And I would usually shake my head yes or no. And
Mm-hmm.
if I said yes, he would part a crowd to get me out. I
Oh,
mean, he will pull me out and I don't have to even say anything because he knows that it's like whatever it is, I'm overwhelmed and I need out. And he will
right.
just get me out. So he's kind of always been that person. But I have felt alone in a lot of this journey sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
because I've had people tell me, they're like, I don't think you understand how much power you have. And I still don't understand it. But
Mm-hmm.
when they tell you that, you feel alone. You feel kind of, like how am I going to do this by myself? But I'm not by myself,
Right. Oh no.
you
And
know.
I think I told you that what I saw was there's so much support around you from the spiritual realm. Like your angels are there. Like there was a lineup of people like ready to help and be there, guides and angels and 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 God. And the cool thing is that you understood and you were willing to trust and do the work. Like you don't know me from Adam other than you were referred to me from someone else, but you trusted the experience and the after effects with your friend, and that's why you wanted some of that. So that's how you reached out to me. But just trusting the messages you get and then following through on them, how profound that is.
And I think I was talking to somebody about this the other day that I can come to you all day long. I can have as many sessions as I want with you, but until I'm ready
Mhm.
to heal and ready to believe, just like you just said, when I'm ready
Yep.
to trust and ready to believe,
Mhm.
it won't. I mean, you'll get something out of it. Don't get me wrong. You always get something out of it, but I don't know that you can really start moving forward sometimes in the way that you should
Mhm.
until you really accept it. And maybe that's not true because, like I said, you do learn something every time you do this and you move forward, and everybody's journey is different. So I guess I shouldn't say that. I've never had quantum leaps like I've had since doing this.
Mhm.
Um,
Well,
because
because we cleared so many blocks. I mean, for you, didn't we clear blocks around being a healer and around being powerful and stepping into your power? And that
yeah,
didn't even come, if I remember, correct me, some of that wasn't even from this lifetime, right?
right. Because some of the
So you
claustrophobia
carried,
and some of that was from before.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you've carried stuff in your DNA and in your cells from past lives, from ancestral lines. So once we cleared all that, and it's subconscious, right? So you don't even know you're doing it. That's part of the theta healing part, is we get to go in and look at that and look at your subconscious and how you're operating
Yeah.
and what's going on from there. And so we got to clear that, which helped you in this lifetime be able to step into your power and do what you're supposed to do and
Yeah.
connect and trust your gifts, because your your gifts are amazing, and I want everyone to know that they have gifts.
Yes.
We're all connected to God and to Creator, and we are all spiritual. I can't say that enough. We're not, we're spiritual beings that are taking on a meat suit for a very short time in a
Yeah.
very hard place to live, to learn good lessons
Yeah.
fast. But we're spiritual before we're physical. And if that's the biggest thing we could teach people, it would change their life.
It
That they
would.
have help, that they have support from the other side, that they're still connected to the other side. And the other side, meaning spiritual realm, God, we're never separate.
Yes.
And and I could go on and on. We should probably talk about that in another thing about spirituality, but it's, you know, I think we're taught in some religions to be separate. Like we can't connect to God because we have to do it a certain way, or we have to pray a certain way, or we have to do this, or we have to do that. I'm here to tell you it's not true.
Yeah. There's a direct line. We have a direct
It's
connection.
direct, so direct, like instantaneously direct.
Yeah.
And if that could be the one hope that we give people, then my job is done here.
I
You know what
know.
I mean?
And just doing the healing, because and we've talked about this before. I've done my own card readings and whatnot for myself, and I've gotten the same messages over and over. But when we started doing that healing, and when the healing that you were allowed to do, or were, is that the right word? For me to help me deal with some of those traumas and whatnot, I finally started trusting myself. And I don't think if we hadn't done this work, that moment in that MRI would have ended very, very differently.
Mm-hmm. I
It
agree.
probably would have ended with me not being able to control the episode, like I said, as we call them, and I probably would have had one on that table. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever could have stopped that had I
Right.
not, taken these tools that we talked about, the grounding and all that you helped me, okay, try this, try this, try this. And then, okay, I'm gonna tell one more story of what happened. This is why I'm telling
Okay.
y'all quantum leaps, y'all. Um, because one of the things we talked about with the energy was I kept saying I don't really know what to do with it, because I would sort of gather it up and push it back out into the earth and try to disperse it out of my body. But I kept being told in downloads and messages that I needed to learn not to control it, but to sort of hold it, just kind of hold
Mm-hmm.
it in my body and be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, and you said this one day, but I have to recognize what's good and what's bad. It's okay. So one day I'm driving, listening to a podcast that, of course, was about all kind of conspiracy theories, and I think they were talking about demonic things and all kind of stuff like that. So I'm driving, and they start talking about this, and I can feel energy building like quickly. and I'm on an interstate. I can't pull off. I can't do. So again, I'm like, what the hell, man? Why do you keep hitting me at times when I can't focus? So I immediately turned the podcast off, and I'm trying to figure out how to connect, how to ground. Again, driving a car, what do I do? So again, I said, okay. And I just kind of imagined that energy I'd always been in before when I connected to Creator. And I said, okay. And I felt it instantly. I felt the peace. And I said, okay, I can do this. But then I kind of started screaming, this isn't mine. This isn't mine. Because the energy I felt I knew had to go. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
not energy I want to keep.
Right.
What do I do? I'm driving. What do I do? And instinctively, and I can't even describe what happened. It's so difficult to describe, but it's like I created a shield inside my body
Mm-hmm.
against like my muscles, my soul, whatever it was. Like you can have between my, like you can be under my skin, but that's as far as you can go.
Mm-hmm.
And and I don't even know what I did. Like I didn't, it was just an instinctive,
Right.
you're not welcome here. And then then I was like, okay, I got it. I felt safe, and I was able to then push the energy back out and get rid of it. And it was the coolest shit that's ever happened
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah. Well, so here's a point I want to make about that. You were connected to God, you were connected to Creator, but you also remembered from the memory in your cells how to do it.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about that. Like I've reminded you of the fact, I think God told you one time that you already know how to do it. We had this
Yeah.
conversation.
That my body
That
just had to
you,
remember.
yeah, your body had to remember how to do it, that you already remembered how to do it. So in that moment, your body, your cells knew exactly what to do because they have memory.
And it's like I've felt before that, you talked about spiritual warfare. And I have felt like before, again, meditations, messages, what all, that what I'm doing, what I'm learning does have to do with warfare in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so this learning, okay, that is not energy you want and what to do with it. This is energy you can keep,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not
Yep.
controlling me. I'm just holding it. It's just
Right.
there. It's not doing anything. I'm just holding it.
Right.
And I think part of that is because those empathic tendencies that if I'm around a bunch of other people, I'm going to start picking up on their energy. I've got to be able to hold that
Right.
and still be able to do what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but it's definitely a journey to get used to that and to figure out and to trust myself that, okay, you can do this. Just relax,
Yeah.
take a breath, and
And
it's
that
fine.
goes back to the whole that we're a spiritual being. We're not really a physical being. We're just taking up space in a body for a while. And some empaths are stronger than others. Like again, when we talk about our gifts, like we've never directly asked, I think, Creator, what your gift is, other than seeing the vortex, seeing the portal that you can hold this energy. So not all empaths can do that. I can't do it. I have to get it out of my space. I'll take it on. I can shield it or whatever, but I get it out of my space. I transmute the energy. So your job, your purpose is something different
Evidently.
because the power around that energy is different. That's what makes us all unique and so beautiful. And if more people can start understanding how powerful they are and what their gifts are, I think their lives would be easier.
Yeah. And to help them figure out what to do with that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
power. You're not crazy. It's not a psychological issue.
Right, right. At all. Um, gosh, the stories I could tell you about clients. Like we were just talking about my one from the other day that's still blowing my mind.
Yeah.
So I have a client that's a child who's 8 who has seizures and bad seizures. They last for like 8 or 9 minutes. He has them 2 or 3 times a week. He started working with me and they went away. But there was spiritual warfare involved. There was energy in his space because so when you're younger, that's why kids are struggling so much. When you're younger, you're very, very, very connected. And they struggle in this world because it's so different than what they remember and what they know. And so they struggle and they're very bright lights. Children are very bright lights in this world. And so The doctors can't figure out where his seizures are coming from, why they're there, and he's resistant to every single seizure medication.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So, I mean, the gist of the whole situation is there's other stuff going on that has nothing to do with his seizures. And once we clear all that up, he's probably going to be completely healed.
Yeah.
And that's just going to blow people's minds. It's blowing my mind.
It is, and it's so, you know, I a couple years ago I started reading the book about the emotion the emotion code.
The emotion code,
Um
yeah.
and how they had done all these tests about energy and people in different buildings miles away from each other and how they were connected, and um how so many things were not medical once they cleared these energy blocks or traumas or whatever it was
Yeah.
um out of their body, how they were healed. They no longer had the headaches. They no longer had, I don't know, whatever it was, joint pain, lung problems, whatever. And not to say that there aren't medical issues that need to be treated and that need medical intervention. That is absolutely true. But
Right.
um, I think sometimes we miss the rest of the picture because we've got our blinders on or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
We can't
Well,
allow
we're
ourselves
just,
to believe in woo, you know.
right. We're just taught a certain way. We're taught that, we've taught that alternative medicine is bad and that it's not healthy for you and medication is the right way to go and all of that. And, if we start researching and look at things, God pretty much gave us everything on every single level of what we have to do to heal our bodies, from plant medicine to earth medicine to energy, the sun,
Oh, yeah.
water, everything. We have
Yeah.
everything we need, and it's somewhere along the way, agriculture, um, you know, um, the big agriculture phase that came in, changed how farming was done, how people worshiped the land or honored the land, and just on and on and on from there. So it's like we're just relearning and taking what resonates.
Yeah. Oh, and don't even get me started on pharmaceuticals and
Oh
how
yeah, I tried not to say it
herbs
out
and
loud. Yeah, I tried not to go
that's
there.
that's a whole rabbit hole that we just won't
Right,
go down. But I mean, yeah, look at Native Americans, look at people from, well, I mean, from centuries ago or even decades ago, that they lived off the land. They healed themselves from herbs, and
right.
they knew what they all did, and they
Mm,
they cooked with them. They used them for food. They used them for, for healing,
yeah.
and then
Mm.
um for everything, you know. And so yeah, I mean, it's all right there. We just have to be willing to try.
Right. Well,
Try
and to
something different.
understand and to try and to relearn. And that sounds overwhelming, but I think our bodies and our intuition know. It's just getting to a point where we can train people to trust that, their inner knowing, trust their higher self, you know, uh, trust that whole side of things, of what's good for them, what's not good for them,
Yeah.
and then go from there. That's how it
Yeah.
starts.
And I find it funny. I don't know if I've said this before, that I'll talk about this with some people. I'm more open than others about kind of what I do or how deep this goes or whatever. And you'll start talking to them, and they immediately start recounting a story of, oh yeah, I my so and so comes to me in my dreams,
Mhm.
or I've seen this happen, or I've done this. And so they know, but they're afraid to say it, or they just maybe they're afraid to pursue it. Maybe they're afraid of how people will look at them, or
Right.
oh, they're one of those woo people. One of those woo
Mhm.
people.
Well, and it's very, the Christian realm, I guess, is one of the hardest because we're taught, um, gifts and prophesying and all this stuff is bad, but it's in the Bible, and we have common day prophets now and prophesying now, which is just seeing the future or knowing that you know something.
Yeah.
That's a prophecy, right? You know that
Yeah.
you know that you know, and you're very clear. You don't know why you know it. You just know it.
Yeah.
Well, that's like a gift in modern times. And I guess if more people knew about spiritual warfare, they'd be able to determine what's negative and what's positive, really,
Yeah.
when you think about it, because you have to be able to look at the fact that there are demons, that there are bad entities, that there are all of this, so that now you can see the difference and see the good. And I
Yeah.
just thought of that as we're talking. So maybe, a lot of people want to not talk about that, but maybe
Yeah.
that's where we should start so that people can recognize the difference.
Well, or either they don't want to accept that they exist, or because again, our conditioning, what we've been taught as children, and all those things.
Well, it's fear, right? They're afraid of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, because they teach you what they teach you in the Bible as a demon is probably not the same thing. It's probably not what it really is. There's different types, there's different things. I mean, I've seen some dark stuff in some of
Yeah.
my downloads and what all that are not pleasant, but it's not as cut and dry as they've tried to make it seem
Right. Well, and
in our church settings.
it's not definitely like the Catholicism version where we see movies about possessions and the exorcist and all this other stuff with holy water and crosses. It's not like that. That's glorified for Movieville. And so, that's an important thing to note, that people need to know, that we have the authority to call out anything that's, shouldn't be in our space, because we have free will and we have free agency, and God's word is God's word. So
Yeah.
um it's interesting how people have gotten wrapped up in the whole Hollywood vision or
Yes.
version of what evil is and what it looks like. um it doesn't look like that.
Agreed.
It can look scary, but it's more scary because it's lower vibration
Yes.
versus, so it's fearful because the energy feels different. That makes sense. Like low vibration feels cold, dark, icky, heavy, right? So that's scary.
Right.
But that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that, you're going to be possessed by a demon.
Yeah. And I mean, there's time, just because you're at a higher vibration doesn't mean that you won't encounter something that you don't
Oh,
necessarily want
absolutely.
to, but a
No,
higher
because
vibration helps you deal with it better.
higher vibration helps you deal with it, but they're drawn to higher vibration. They're drawn to the light, just like flies are drawn, not flies, gnats or bugs are
Yeah.
drawn to the light, like mosquitoes to the light. It's the same kind of thing. They don't know they're trying to raise their vibration. They're just trying to raise their vibration. And they're
Right.
doing that by being attracted to the light.
Yeah. They're going to look at that thing. I want to go over
Right.
there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish, I wish this was easier to convey to people. And I mean, I've said it a million times. The reason I want to do this and I want to talk to people and do all these things is to get people to understand that it, it it's not what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
All these things are not what you think they are, and they're very much connected, and you still have the right. I'm not trying to make you stop believing something that you believe and in your heart is right. You'll know
Mm-hmm.
what's right because your heart will tell you,
Right.
but I just wish it
Oh
was
yeah.
easier.
Your gut, the quiet whisper that doesn't go away. Those are all the truths.
Yeah.
And it's not, and because I'm a hardcore Christian, I pray, I meditate, I read the Bible, because now that I'm so connected, I'm fascinated by the Bible. I'm fascinated by the counts of things in the Bible and the people that wrote them and why they wrote them the way they did and how much ego was involved and what's the whole thing around it. Like I'm fascinated by it. So being connected actually has made me more of a Christian or more of a believer, and has
Yes.
taken religion, in my view, and expanded it.
Yes.
Because
Exactly.
I think religion has made God small, and God's not small.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We was just talking
Mm-hmm.
about this with one of the last episodes with a couple of friends that it was like God the creator is so much bigger than what's in that building on Sunday morning, you know. And then there's, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the whole thing that the church is not what happens in the building, it's what happens outside the building, and
Right.
all those things. And that there's too many people that I think they get so caught up in quoting from the Bible to you to tell you how you're not doing things right, that I'm like, I think you missed a few
Right.
scriptures in there.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. And that's said with the utmost love, because those are probably the people that need it the most,
Oh yes.
because they probably feel the most disconnected.
Yes.
And that's what breaks my heart, is knowing what I know from seeing spirits that have passed on, or from, doing theta work and seeing ancestral lines and stuff, is that it's so beautiful and so unconditional, and there's so much love beyond the words that we can describe, that it makes me sad that there's anyone that's a religious person that feels alone, or feels like God is a wrathful, angry, mean God. Like,
Yes.
it breaks my heart. And those are the people that I would love to touch, because I feel like they're just lost and disconnected, and they don't have to be.
Yeah. And they're and in their defense, they're just doing what they're told. They're
Right.
doing what they've been taught. And so there's so much fear that's been put in them that they don't know how to, it's almost like just to even think outside that box, not to even entertain it or to agree with it or any of those things, but just to even listen to what
Mm-hmm.
we're saying could damn them to hell.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
oh my gosh, no,
Yep.
I don't think
Mhm.
that's what's going to happen.
I have a Christian friend who, this is funny, because she's a great learning ground for me. And so, to the listeners out there, anytime you're in a relationship with anyone, it's the biggest learning ground for lessons if you decide to take that on. So just pay attention what your triggers are, or what's going on, because there's always a lesson there if you want to be open to learning. So she's great for me because she's the hardcore Christian. So, talking to dead people is evil. You can't do cards, all this stuff. So we have conversations. And one of our conversations the other day was about spiritual warfare. So,
Okay.
so it was very interesting. I'm like, well, you believe in spiritual warfare, right? And she's like, yeah. I go, well, tell me about it. What is it? And she's like, well, just stuff that's going on in the world, evil people. I'm like, okay, well, what does evil look like? Like, do you believe in demons? Do you believe in, the fallen? Do you believe in, like, spirits that are stuck here that haven't passed on? Oh, no, none of that. No, that's evil. That's not from the Bible. And it was very interesting just to look at the perspective, because I'm like thinking, oh, well, it talks about all that stuff in the Bible.
Yeah.
And spiritual warfare is actually that. There's angels fighting demons right now. There's us in the physical realm that have evil and energy in our space that we have to deal with, that's making us behave a certain way instead of following the light, or doing things that would raise our vibration. So we've got all these different levels of all this spiritual warfare, and it was just really interesting to hear from someone who's very Christian, very Bible oriented, say that she didn't really believe in any of that.
Wow. Yeah. And I mean, I've got all kind of conversations that I will someday have about the Bible, that, you know, the the people that wrote it, and don't even get me started on King James and all the people that were in charge that did things to make it fit their agenda. And then then the conversation about the books that aren't in there. And
Right.
oh my gosh, if some people could read the Book of Enoch, I think their minds would absolutely
Yeah.
explode.
Right.
I haven't even read the whole thing yet, and it
Mhm.
just, my mind just went, okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
um, so I do find it unfortunate that I agree that,
Mhm.
it makes me sad that there's so much to be learned and so much growth to be had. But by the same token, if this is what makes their heart happy and they are at peace with where they are and their
Mhm.
belief in God and how they follow it through Catholicism, or, I was raised
Mhm.
Methodist, maybe those guys, Baptist, whatever you are. If you are at peace with where you are, with God and your creator, you know what? Go do it.
Yeah.
I support you. I
Yeah.
love you. Do you. You do
Do
you.
you? Yeah. And and that's the thing. There's like no judgment. One of the things I've learned over the years from connecting so much and seeing what I see is there's absolutely no judgment. And it's not my place to judge because everyone's in the spot that they're in. And as long as they feel some sort of connection, like I feel like my purpose is to teach people how to connect, whatever that is, so that they can feel God's presence in their life. They can feel more love. They can feel unconditional love. You know, and so I love her dearly is my point to all that. But then I just had a thought like, I wish churches taught people how to connect to God. They say pray,
Yeah.
but so what does praying look like? What does it feel like? Do you feel the presence of God come over you when you're praying? Or do you feel like you're just saying words? And
Yeah.
if you're just saying words, then are you connected? And is there a way that the churches could teach you actually how to feel God? Because God's not far away on top of
Right.
the world looking down on us. He's right there with us.
Yeah, he's here. He's right
He's
beside us.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many people are taught, or you say you would say the creeds, and it was, I mean, I could say those creeds in my sleep
Oh, I know.
for
Me
so
too. The
long.
Apostles' Creed, the
Oh my
Nicene Creed, all
goodness.
of them.
And so, yeah, I
So,
mean, how many times have I seen people, especially as children? I think it was almost like you're just asking for stuff. Can you heal this? Can you do this? And it's like, did you ever even say thank you? Did you ever, and I don't know, evolving in prayer was something that was difficult for me. And when I learned to meditate was when I started understanding, oh, now I get it.
uh-huh,
And now it's even more, making that connection. And I said that to somebody the other day too, that I don't think I ever really connected to God until you taught me how. And that's
mhm,
really sad considering my age. But
right.
yeah.
Yeah. And so, I don't know if the listeners know, but when we do a theta session, I take someone up to a theta brainwave state, which is a meditation, a very short meditation. But what it does is it connects us to creator energy, to God energy, unconditional love, that feeling. And oh my God, it's going to make me cry to see people's faces after we do that meditation. And I'm like, how do you feel? I ask everyone, how do you feel? And they're like, wow, I feel so good. I feel so light. I feel so, wow, I just feel good. Like it's probably the first time they've ever felt an inkling of God's energy touch
Yeah.
them. And um, that's one of the biggest things I love about Theta. Like my job is not to be your healer forever. That's never my purpose is to teach you how to connect and do your own stuff, how to
Yeah.
connect to God, how to talk to God, how to heal yourself, how to do all that. That's my job. I'm just like the person that introduces you and teaches you how to start, going through the layers of the onion and go from there. But it's true. I've been a Christian my whole life, and I felt God's presence a few times in my life. Um, but to truly connect like that and feel that and stay in that space is pretty darn cool. It's
It
like,
really is.
yeah. And you really are saying your description of what happened in the MRI machine, you're saying it in the English terms, the best that you can describe it. But would
Right.
you also say that it was so profound you almost couldn't put it into words?
Yes.
The
And that's
messages and how you felt when you got the messages and what to do.
and my poor husband, y'all, they had given me Valium because I don't like this, right? So they had given me two, which I took both of them. And so on the way home, I was texting you to
Mm-hmm.
tell you because I knew you were
Right.
the one person in my life that would understand what had just
Right.
happened. And so, and I'm telling my husband how I was mad that we couldn't talk during the MRI because I had all these questions I was going to ask him to keep us occupied so that I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have to think about what I was doing. And he's like, well, like what? And of course, it was about Star Wars. And so, and he goes, well, what are they? And I was like, no, 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 we'll talk later. And evidently, I was like chatty Cathy all night. I was just like, and I said, I don't know that it was the Valium. I think I was riding a high from what had happened. Okay, the Valium didn't help, but I was
Mm-hmm.
riding
Right. Mm-hmm.
a serious high because you can't explain how good you feel invincible. You feel
Mm-hmm.
on top of the world. You feel everything just is firing properly. There's no everything just feels almost perfect. It's
Yeah.
like an infusion of an IV of B12. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's just a
It's like pure perfection.
yeah.
You can't even explain it. Like, and you said your volume didn't even kick in till you were on the way home.
Yeah, then I
So
was starting to feel it.
everything you experienced in the MRI had nothing to do with the volume.
Yeah. Now
It
me
had
being chatty
everything to do,
Cathy all the way home
yeah,
probably.
yeah. But we like I love speaking to people that have passed on to the light
Yeah.
because it's it's I feel on a high. I'm in their vibration of what it feels like to be in that space on the other side in that high vibration. And it's like so close to God. I can't even put it into words. I
Yeah.
just absolutely love doing it because it feels so good. I get to give peace to people that are here on the planet that have lost ones that have moved on. Like I did a reading for a Theta client of mine last week, a very, very good friend of his that was a mentor.
Oh.
And he missed him and he wasn't there for his death. And he had this guilt and shame around it. And anyway, like I'm a better person because I got to talk to him.
Yeah.
Like my life felt fulfilled and I felt honored to be able to talk to this person that had passed on because he was that significant of a being
Yeah.
when he was alive, and he's still doing work on the other side. And it was, you can't make this stuff up. You just
Yeah.
can't.
Well, what is it the line, and I guess I could say this from one of the Fantastic Beasts movies when the guy is like, I know this is real because I ain't smart enough to make this up.
Right. It's true. The things I've seen and the things I've heard, I'm not even capable
Yeah.
of having an imagination that wild to be able to make
Yeah.
that up.
My brain can't do that. That's just not. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And I know one of the things that has really been interesting for me with the connection with the theta stuff is that, like I was telling you, those days where I was kind of frantic trying to figure out how to connect, and I didn't know what to do, so I would try to think about in my mind, okay, just put your mind in that place, and the peace that you feel immediately
Mm-hmm.
is something that I want to live in that place
Mm-hmm.
forever. That
Yeah.
peace is amazing. And how it just immediately calms your mind, your body,
Mm-hmm.
everything. Your whole spirit just goes,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And that is one of the coolest things about it.
Yep.
That and you just want to scream it from the rooftops. You want to tell everybody how this has happened, and then trying to trying to formulate the words to
Right.
explain this to people
Right.
is kind of funny.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, because you've heard me, I do it in session too. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing this, I'm feeling this, and hold on, I got to try to translate and get it out there in words so you can understand what I'm seeing or feeling.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And my mission is to, I don't know if I want to use the word wake up, but my mission is really to connect people in a way more profound way.
Yeah.
um, of who they are and how connected they are and how much support they have from God and from all the gifts that God has given us.
Yeah. There's so many
Like,
people that need that.
angels, guides, like it's not talked about enough. It is not talked enough about how much support we have, how many angels we have, that our angels are there waiting to help us. And, they can't do anything until, we say, okay, because we have free will and we have free agency and we have to ask them.
Yeah.
If people could understand that they're not alone and God gave us that kind of support, like that would change the planet.
Yeah, it would. And I don't know why I mean, I know why it's so hard for
I do
people to
too. I
understand
know
it,
it's
but man,
a hard
it's
topic.
an uphill battle that we have here. Maybe that's why we call it warfare because it is kind of an uphill battle to try
Mm-hmm.
to do this in a way that people can understand it and that they can accept it.
Right.
So we
Well,
have our
yeah, because
work cut
it's
out for us.
reframing everything people have been taught.
Yep. And there's a lot of people in this world that don't want us to do that. They do not want people to be awake in this way. So
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
it is.
All of it.
Well,
Oh, fun times. But I do have to say, I am honored to work with you and to do theta healing with you because that validated me hearing you tell your story that you did what creator told you to do based on what I said, right?
yeah,
And taught
yeah,
you how to connect. And in a moment of need, you connected and you followed advice and your whole world shifted because of it.
yeah. And that's
Like
amazing.
you'll never forget that. And you'll be able to use that going forward all the time.
Yeah. And I tell people all the time that you saved my life. I think you literally saved my life
Yeah.
because the trajectory I was on was not fun. You know. So yeah, it's
And I'll give God the glory and creator the glory. I was just the witness for the whole thing. And I obeyed, right? I followed guidance because one of the thing about a theta session is it's my ego's not in play at all. I could think we have to do one thing and then creator's telling me we have to do this. And so then we go in that direction and that's the way we go because it's you and creator. I'm just witnessing the healing and what's going on. And so it's very unique to each client, what they need, what they're here for,
yeah,
all that type stuff.
that
So it's
trust and that. Well, I said that's two of my words for this year are surrender and trust.
mm,
Because
those
just
are
because you
beautiful.
surrender, it's still hard to trust sometimes.
Yep.
But when you completely surrender and just say, okay, I'll just do it, fine.
Mm-hmm,
And it's amazing what that has done for me just in the
mm-hmm,
past couple months. That's what I don't think people quite understand about this particular part of my journey. This has just been a couple months, maybe 3. No, I'm not even sure it's been 3. I think it's been 2, maybe 2.5. That's it. That's how far I've been able to come
right.
in such a short period of time.
Mm-hmm,
But just because I've started learning to say, okay, I hear you, I will do that.
mm-hmm,
Even though I don't know where that step is, okay, fine, I'm going to take the step. And
right.
without fail, it has worked.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a pretty neat thing we get to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And what's so interesting is I feel so blessed because I'm doing what I'm meant to do and I feel like I'm doing my purpose work. And so there's so much peace and contentment and just joy in that.
Yeah.
And that's also part of, my mission to teach other people because we're not meant to suffer.
Oh yeah.
Anybody who believes that God set this up, that we're supposed to suffer and it's supposed to be painful and all of that, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be joyful. We're here to create whatever it is we want to create. And we can do it with ease and joy, or we can do it the painful way. But
Yeah.
that's our choice.
Yeah.
And so the more people, I think that's what people have been taught.
Yeah.
You go to work 9 to 5. There's a lot of pain in your life. It's hard, blah, 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 blah. But they've been taught that. It's not how
Yeah.
it has to be. They can choose differently. It's unknown. It's scary, but it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah. That's very true.
That would be the best gift I could give anyone, is that they have hope and they know it can be different.
Yeah. So I can't wait to learn how to do Theta.
Oh my gosh, I can't either. So I'm yeah. So I'm certified now to teach other people. I'm a certified trainer.
That is
And I feel like
amazing.
that's the big blessing, because I'm actually meant to be a teacher. And I would love to teach everyone how to do this,
Yeah.
because they can do their own healing on themselves, connect to God, and then
Yeah.
help other people too,
Yeah.
if they
So I'm
choose.
excited I'm so glad you did this. I'm so glad that we just got to be part of each other's lives. I think it was absolutely meant to be. And I know that I'm sure we are going to have more things to tell people in the future as we continue
Oh
doing
boy,
all this.
we had a lot to say.
Just a few things to talk about.
Oh my gosh. Fun.
That's going
Yeah.
to be fun. Yeah. So I know I've taken a lot of your time today. Anything else you want to add about today's discussion?
Oh my gosh.
That there's going to be more in the future?
Yeah, there'll definitely be more in the future. And you know what? I don't know if you ever do this, but if you guys want to hear about something in particular, like ghosts or angels or spirits, or you guys want information on something, me and Heather have talked about doing lives and answering questions, or doing
Yeah.
podcasts about specific topics. So,
Yes.
I don't know if you do a call out to that, but is there comments like below the,
Well,
when
yeah, and
people
we
listen?
can put it in the show notes, and then we can put comments in the Facebook group would be probably
Yeah,
the easiest way to do it.
yeah.
That if anybody wants to,
So if
or
you
if
want to
you want to
hear about
hear
a
about
certain topic,
something that we can cover, or
yeah, I think it's time to start opening conversation and what people have questions about, so they can start digging in and learning if they're ready.
yeah, and that's where I'm at. I want to just, what is it? What is it that you want to know that we can help you understand, so that it doesn't scare you anymore?
Right.
And if it
Absolutely.
still does, okay,
Mhm.
that's fair.
Mhm.
But, it probably doesn't have to if you
Right.
knew about it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I think the unknown is what's the scariest.
it is
So
for
let's
me.
let's teach people things, and then they don't have to be scared.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Fun times ahead.
Okay, well, oh, and again, I will put your information in the show notes for this one again too, for people that are looking for you.
Okay.
Your
Fantastic.
your Facebook and your Instagram.
Yeah. You want me to say it right now so
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, why don't you say it again?
Okay, so on Facebook, I have my business page. It's Gena Zittlow Healing, and it's Gena with an E, Gena. So Gena Zittlow Healing. And then Instagram is a little bit different. It's GypsyGena. So it's Gena with an E, but it's GypsyGena. And that's my I have my Linktree link in there for all my services and what I do. And I post all kinds of good stuff about energy and vibration and theta and talking to pets and all kinds of fun things. So I love my Instagram channel.
Yes, everyone should follow her. She has great content. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's been very
Thank you. It was
exciting.
so fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I
Very
guess
fun.
we'll tell everybody good night or goodbye for today, and we'll
Goodbye.
see y'all next time.
Yeah, sending so much love out to everyone. Okay, bye.
Thanks so much for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed today's episode and that it was helpful to you in some way. Make sure to like and rate and do all those fun things for our podcast. We really do appreciate it. And of course, check out the show notes for links and any other important information. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Ballyhoo Bridge. If you're looking for guidance in your journey, head over to ballyhoobridge.com. There you can do things like choose a time for a free 30-minute clarity call with me. And you can find out what Ballyhoo Bridge means. in case you were wondering. In the meantime, don't forget to take care of yourself. Until next time.